Hi, my name is Keith and I'm known as the Florida Stone Man, and today I'm going to be making a video talking to you all about why people can't hear their angels, or why people truly can't understand angels sometimes. And I do have to say, most of you are hearing your angels, but it depends on the person. You can't generalize. You can't generalize everything about angels. You really can't. It's not fair. Not to them, not to you. Not in your connection to the Lord, because everyone's different. Because some people have angels around them on top of angels on top of angels. Some people have like one angel sticking around with them because that's it, because there's literally, that's it. When it comes to, and I say that very, very lightheartedly, like I'm thinking about this because you can't generalize angel information at all. You can't. Because if I were to tell you guys, oh, this is the case for all scenarios, no. Are you doing right by God, number one? Number two, because you have to understand, angels are interdimensional. I know certain people who their angels have left them, but not fully. So I know people who have angels who they turned the off switch on the person, and they're standing by them to make sure they're not a threat to themselves and to others. They haven't fully left, but they just will never communicate with the person. I actually know multiple people like that. I'm not using anyone as an example. I will not use anyone as an example. I have to really think about what I'm saying, so I will pause in this video and really think about what I'm saying, because I have a very major responsibility in teaching correctly about angels, because looks like most of the information on Google and angels is just inaccurate and not correct. I scolded someone in the live last night because someone was like, oh, angels can never leave you, they'll have to stay by you no matter what. I'm like, says who? Literally in the Bible, if you were to defy Archangel Michael, you're to be cut down. That's in Leviticus and Numbers. Like, it's a strong history in the Bible of, you disrespect God's angels, they're not going to be around you like that. They'll be around you at the edge of a sword, but you can't disrespect angels, for example, and expect, you're going to protect me anyway. Dude, I told you. Really? In hell you will. So, and yes, in actual hell, Sheol. Hell, the word hell is not mentioned in the Bible. It's Sheol. Gehenna. Literally the pockets it's the columns of the earth. So, when it comes to people and angels, one reason a group of people can't hear angels is because your angel's on a different mode. There are some people who are just mean people, but they're people of God. But they're mean in the sense that, like, they evil eye. They're not going to work on their energy. They don't care about working with crystals like that. They're just like, they're going to put people down instead of help them go up. And those mean people will yell at people, scream at people, make people feel bad. And then they know they won't get. They know there's no consequence for it, so their angel will leave them, but in a different method. So when it comes to that, certain people have angels that just won't talk to them. Like, just won't. Like, some people's angels just won't talk. They're quiet, they're not going to talk. So there's technically St. Michael's with everyone. But sometimes he's watching people, or he's watching someone over someone versus watching them, if you get what I mean. Watching them, making sure they're not doing anything bad and at the edge of the sword, or watching over them, protecting them from the other end of the sword. So what allows you to have angels around you? Purifying your soul, purifying your spirit. And when you purify your soul, you're going to attract angels to you because they love you and you have a pure soul. So as long as you're fighting to purify your soul, and that's the thing, if you're someone with just complete darkness in your soul and just evil and havoc, then you won't hear them talk. It'll feel like, because you ever hear about those people who don't have an internal monologue? It's because their angels turned it off, because God instructed them to. And for the people, because I've seen some people, and this, because there's a large portion of people who can't hear angels because they disrespect the angels, or they disrespect, most importantly, the Lord. I see some of these comments in my comment sections. Some people will comment, well, my angel better do what I told him. And I'm like, excuse you? Your angel's gonna leave if you keep talking like that to your angel. Your angel will slap you with something very hard with something very hard. People's angels get slapped with things you can't imagine. Sometimes someone will get like, you want to, if you guys saw that, but if you want to, more confirmation. Basically, if you disrespect your angel, then your angel can flat out just, and they're agents of the Lord, so they can do whatever they want. And yes, I'm under a light, so there's bugs. It's Florida, and it just rained, or it was raining earlier. So your angel can literally, they can give you a scare before they let the real scare happen. So something as traumatizing as someone getting abducted because they disrespected their angel can happen. So scarier things have happened. I can't say anymore, but they don't want me to go in detail about that. So what am I saying? A lot of people can't hear their angel because a lot of people mess up or are not honest with themselves. If you think you're going to talk to an angel and not acknowledge the Lord, it doesn't work like that. They go in a different mode. So you have to understand, they have a mode of being around you and not talking, being around you, talking, being not around you, not talking. So if you write that down, because that's very important for people to know. So some people you'll know, and you'll just wonder like, okay, there's a person of God, they're the worst person in the world, but they're trying. Like this is the worst person you can ever imagine being around that person. Like this person's awful. This is a horrible person. But they're a person of God, and they're trying. They're trying their hearts out. The Lord is with them, but the angels not so much. They'll watch over the person so nothing makes them a worse person, but that's it. I actually know several people like that. Several people. I almost want to say who the people are. A good majority of them are women who thought that they were better than other people. Okay, fine. It's like that's the thing. So when you like, oh, you can't, I mean, you're my angel, I'll do whatever I want with you. It's like, are you crazy? Are you nuts? And sometimes I'll talk on, if for the people who know what I'm talking about, you'll be in my TikTok live, and these people think that, well, I'm so good with God, I can just do whatever I want, talk however I want with my angel. So the major portion in this video is a lot of people are not hearing their angels because the angels are not around them like that. So that's why this is such a big part of this video. So I've actually witnessed people's angels leave them several times in my TikTok live. Sometimes I think when people bring their negative energy and say something horrendous against the Lord or their angels or angels in general, that they'll bring them in my live, so I let them know that their angel has left them. Angels don't come back like that either. So then you have a demon around you, because a demon can agree with you. The demons laugh and the angels not. So let's talk about the people who have angels around them and would like to hear their angels. You already can. Yes, you can. You hear them through your intuition. So let's talk more about this aspect, since I went so in depth about for the people who don't have angels, because one of the 3 options. I hope you remember the 3. I told you to write them down. Quiz time. I'm not going to repeat it because there's a certain time I have in this video to teach you guys this. So for someone who wants to hear their angels, I'm going to give you a major secret right now. You ever have a feeling to ask a question and you're like, for example, is this neighbor stealing packages? And you just have this urge, this question urge just pops over. Just comes over you, and it's just like a very specific question, and it's just like, it's not coming from insecurity, it's not coming from a place of delusion, it's not coming from a place of uncertainty. It's like a knowing of a question, so you already know the answer to the question when you ask it. That's actually your angels talking to you inside your head. That's a telepathic message. So people will be like, okay, and then some people know they shouldn't wear the color red. Does wearing red on this day of the week affect me badly? It's like, your angels told you that, and it appeared as a question in your subconscious mind because you didn't recognize them actually telling you in your mind's eye, your mind vision, your clairaudient center from the inside or on the outside, because you might have heard outside I'll give you another secret. So when you're in public and you hear people talking, you're not actually hearing everyone talking. When you hear that background voice that sounds like something familiar and it reminds you of something, it's usually your angels. Sometimes it's actually other people, but when you know that no one just said what you just heard, you're hearing your angels in public. Because the spiritual law allows them to be able to do that. Now, let's talk about spiritual law and angels. This is a giant point in this video, because these are some massive points. a lot of times people's angels will not talk to them or answer them because I have to be careful how I say this stuff. Basically, this very important information. If your angel knows you can't handle the answer to something, they're going to not answer you or just say they don't know. They're sweet and kind enough to the point where they'll just be like, I don't know. And that basically means they either actually don't know or they're not allowed to tell you, so they delete it from their knowing. So when they say, I don't know, it's because the Lord told them to say, I don't know. Or the Lord can actually have the angel not know. Because the Lord's Lord. So essentially when the angel says, I don't know, it means the Lord's not letting them answer that, because the Lord can erase it, because the Lord's the Lord, from the angel knowing, or block it from the angel's knowing, or not to let the angel know, because angels work together as a team. So in essence, if your angel might just might not know, or if it's not coming in your intuition, if you cannot hear the angel word for word, because most of you can hear angels word for word, but you don't think you can. I've opened clairaudience and people who have gotten necklaces from my website, Florida Stoneman, or actually the custom ones, because I work with you one-on-one. A lot of times your angels are flat out talking and you're just ignoring them. You're just happily ignoring them. You don't know that they're talking. You think what you're hearing is being made up, but it's stuff you couldn't possibly know. It's that simple. So some of you are fully hearing your angels. Some of you, what's it mean when someone's how do you know when it's your angel versus your logic? Because some people will make stuff up. They'll just make stuff up. It's usually a lot of people don't, and then they will. So the first thing you'll hear is accurate, and then after that people will start making stuff up once you use logic. So how do you know if it's an angel message versus, for the people who are new, an angel message versus logic? Your angel's message will come through immediately, and it will be something you don't really understand. Or, I mean, sometimes my angel's just like, well, he'll say like a slogan or a phrase, and I'm just like, huh? He's like, oh, blah, 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 blah. Like the bark on the tree, the bark on the tree, that thing don't bite. And I'm like, something like just like as a riddle, because they're, like I said, sometimes they're not allowed to tell you everything, but they'll tell you something as a riddle. So the bark on the tree, that blah, blah, don't bite. I'm like, what? And I just like, what? What does that mean? And he's like, you figure it out. I'm like, okay. And then I figure it out later on in the day. I'm like, oh, this means that person's a person who likes to yell and scream. Okay, fine. Or the biggest thing is, and sometimes, like, for example, even when I fully hear my angels, I ignore them by accident sometimes because there's so many of them talking. So I'll hear tons of angels talking to the point where I'll accidentally ignore a voice until they do a little voice switch. So if, for example, if I'm picking something up, I'm like, should I add this? Should I add this to my crystal collection? And I'll hear, yes, go ahead, do it. I'm like, I don't know if I should add this. I'm like, let me think about it for a second. I'm like, yes, go ahead. And then I'll hear a female voice, yes. And I'm like, ah! Because they don't talk in female voices. So I'm like, I hear a whole female's voice, and I'm just like, ah! So when you're used to hearing all your angels talking in a male voice, and he just switches to a female voice, like an extremely high-pitched female voice, I'm like, ah! It almost doesn't sound like my angel, but he got my attention. So what do they do with you guys? They surprise you by getting different messages in your head through songs, music, etc., until you can fully open your clairaudience. Which they kind of train me to hearing them, because it's a surprise when you're hearing a bunch of males talk and then you hear just a really high-pitched, louder female. It's like, wait, just out of nowhere. So what about a different point? Let's talk about, and I have probably a minute left in this video. So for example, if you're about to get food poisoned by something, they'll do a little riddle, because they know they're gonna say like, oh, you shouldn't eat that fish that's been left out, that tuna steak that's been left out. I just threw a restaurant on blast. Fine, but you shouldn't eat that tuna steak because it got left out, and then you ignore them by accident. You have a weird intuition when that was your angel just talking, because they say stuff once. They say it twice sometimes because they love you. But then they say, heartburn, indigestion, upset stomach, diarrhea. And then you're like, why is this song stuck in my head now? And like, you're jamming to it, and it's like, oh, you're out at dinner and you're about to get food poison. There you go. So same thing applies. Your angels will sing stuff. Most of the time you guys can't hear them, This is the easiest answer. Most of the time you can't hear them because you're ignoring them. That's it. You're ignoring them. They answer very fast and they answer very quick. Yep. Yes. And sometimes their answer is not what you want to hear. It makes this is something that you guys really don't like to hear. An angel will be like, yes. Okay. Okay. Or no. That's not it. Yes. Sometimes their answer is because the answer is as simple as that. They don't have to say anything else. It's just like, should I go to school today? And they're just like, no. You're like, what? Can you tell me more about why no? And sometimes they can't say, they're not allowed to say it. Why else? They're like, because of the weather. And then something happens at the school, which it's on the news or whatever, and you're just like, oh, okay, the weather. Because they're not allowed to tell you stuff like that, okay? So just get used to simpler answers. It's pretty easy, pretty simple. If you guys have any questions, ask them in the comment section. Check out FloridaStoneman.com if you have not already. The gemstones on my website are very beautiful if you haven't seen them already. And make sure you go to FloridaStoneman.com for the people who are getting custom necklaces. I hand tailor them based off your energy, your background, your spiritual DNA, your astrology, your spiritual gift set, your actual angels who are around you, etc. I actually tell you which angels you have and how to connect to them better. So for the people who like a custom Florida Stoneman necklace, DM me on Instagram. Until then, I'll see you guys next time. Ciao!